If somebody would have said to me at university that is a contract, like average salary, to be an illustrator for the next 40 years for the rest of your career, I would have signed it in blood. Like, I would have ripped their arm off. It's just, that's how much I wanted it then, and how like fantastical the idea seems was just way beyond comprehension. But actually, as things have gone on, I've been fortunate enough to get like dream clients within sort of 5 years, 6, even sooner. Like Leeds United was 2 or 3 years in. WWE happens, and actually what's happened is I've become more and more curious about all other art forms as it's moved along, which is why I'm doing the podcasting and writing the book and trying to engineer these opportunities to adapt my style to different disciplines. I was living in Manchester at the time, and I lived at the time with a good friend of mine, Danny Skerritt, who DJs and produces under the name Dirty Freud. And we set up a project called Quench Music, where we created a whole brand, a website, and we worked to support new musicians. And it got us some amazing opportunities of working on, I directed a whole charity campaign called Express, which was for Calm, which is a male suicide charity, dealing with, and we were looking at, the emotional benefits of creativity, basically, and being into music, into film and all those things. And what happened was it opened lots of doors into lots of other areas. We ended up making short films. We worked right across the board. We worked with photographers, we did radio, we did all sorts, and it gave me this sort of understanding of how my specialism of illustration and design kind of fits into all these other worlds. And through that sort of work, I met Mark Ashmore, who was a director of films, and he heads a group called Future Artists who produce film and work in film. And what happened was I would create these set designs using kind of lining paper and like £3 big rolls of paper that and ink, because to get around the fact we had no budget whatsoever. But actually they were really quite simple and nice and brought a real human aesthetic, which was, as I talked about, something that's crucial to my style. And I get a call from a client I'd been pestering at WWE, which was the dream client on my list, being a passionate wrestling fan now and as a kid. And it blew my mind that he'd seen this job that I'd done on no budget. And as it turns out, working on a shoestring actually made me think more creatively and work with what was perceived as a disadvantage. I think the thing with the type, it's no character is the same. It's like people send me, it's just, people say, do you not want to do a font, like create a font from your lettering? And I said, no, I don't want to do that, because there's numerous kind of bad versions of the type that I do are out there that you can get as fonts, and you do see it, on magazine headers and things. But actually, I'm quite consciously creating like a luxury brand of that type, where it's 100% human, it's all painted, it's all very accidental, and actually, you're not going to look at all the E's or all the A's in that alphabet and see that they're the same. Not one character will be duplicated, and that's the USP of my type, really, that it isn't mechanical. It's funny because you do start to see the world through different eyes when you find the thing that you connect with in the arts. I remember Bill Parker, my old tutor at college, saying that within 6 months, I remember this, we sat there on our first day and he had us there as a group, and we were all little dickhead teenagers, prattling about. And he said, you lot within 6 months, mark my word, will be scratching around in skips, bringing back just rubbish, boards, whatever you can find, and we all like sniggered and laughed and stuff. And why would we be in the bins? Like, laughing at him. And we were, within about 4 months actually, I was climbing in skips and pulling out hardwood boards, because you realise that actually things are quite expensive if you go down the stationers and buy things. So, but it's good because it does change the way you look at the world. So in doing the charity campaign for Calm, we had a limited team of people that we worked together. But essentially I was, behaving like a creative director of an agency by bringing in the right photographer to work with me. We had a graphic designer on board. We had a musician curating like the soundtrack for the album that we released, the charity album. But what happened was we didn't have any budget, so I called in sort of talented friends who were also in the arts to work with me on that campaign. And because we didn't have a budget for, to bring in journalists, to interview people, I kind of had to just step up and do it. So, we interviewed a lot of creative people about their sort of emotional well-being and how their creativity helps that. And we unexpectedly got interviews with Stephen Merchant, with Danny Dyer, with Ian Stone, Caitlin Rose, Mick Foley, Ken Garland. We got a lot of sort of good people from different fields, but I had to go and interview them all. And I'd never done an interview in my life to that end, but found out I was all right. I'm a people person. I enjoy talking with people, and much like my creative style, we kept it quite human, quite informal and flowing, and it worked. And people were full of praise for the interviews we did. So eventually, when the opportunity came up to do the podcast, I thought, maybe I've got something to do this. And I think it's just one of those things where you learn on the job. So you can check out the podcast on soundcloud.com/arrestallmimics.